for Walton Bay, a novel based in the area of Kingston, Ontario in the late 1800s. This story was inspired from the desire to see Canada return to its simple roots after seeing such division during the pandemic in recent years. Available now on Amazon, this book will help fund our efforts here at Momentum Canada, since we are not government funded. Rather than just ask for money, I wanted to give you something wholesome for you to enjoy as well. So place your order today and enjoy a great story for such a time as this. All right, how's it going, everybody? Brandon McCaskill here with Momentum Canada. Welcome to Momentum Monday. This is the segment of our channel where we connect with you guys, the viewers, and have a conversation. Usually I pick a couple topics that have hit the headlines over the past week, and we dive into those. So if you're new here, please subscribe so that you're notified every time I do go live and every time I do a new upload. Okay, so appreciate that. Hit the thumbs up, share this video to your friends and family, that kind of stuff. It really helps us out. Right on. So if you're watching me right now, just say hello in the comments and we'll get a conversation going here. But we will be covering, as the title suggests, Pierre Polievere versus Kristen Anderson. I think that's how you say her name, Kristen, not Christine. My tendency is to say Christine, but I heard Maxime Bernier, he pronounced it Kristen. So I'll just say Kristen for now. Kristen Anderson. We'll also be talking about Trump visiting Ohio. And then I have an ambiguous title suggesting Trudeau shenanigans. So right now in the comments, we have CPEM. How you doing, CPEM? Great to have you. I hope you're having a good start to your Monday. Well, it's Monday afternoon for me, but for some people on the West Coast, it's morning. So good morning to y'all out there. So yeah, there's a lot going on in my life, I should say. I've been pretty busy this week, and trying to stay on top of what's going on in the media is always a challenge. And actually just this morning, I'm trying to refresh myself because, you hear things that go on all week and people share articles with you. So trying to condense it all in a way that we can all talk about it in simple terms is sometimes, especially when you got a time limit, sometimes it's challenging. Firefly, great to see you again. Hello, all. She says, I have a day off for a change. Well, that's fantastic. Well, yeah, days off. You got to take your days off, right? And I was telling my co-host Brooke Day this last night. I said, Sunday is my day to just, you know what? I try to set my PBs for Sunday morning to see how long I can sleep in. So Sundays are my days. So yeah, just leave it at that. But let me talk to you guys about Rumble. Okay, so for the past couple of weeks, I've been pushing Rumble, letting you guys know I'm over there, which if you're not watching there right now, I encourage you to do. Because there's going to be sensitive topics that we talk about. And I already have posted some sensitive material, sensitive in terms of, YouTube's standards. So that's the type of, or that's where you'll want to go so that you can watch that type of stuff. With that said, I've been doing these segments where I listen to your guys' stories, because I wanted to go back to the roots of why I started this channel. So back during the trucker protest in Ottawa, I had people on here sharing their stories, people that were frustrated, people that just wanted to get things off their chest with how things were being run in the country and the things they went through and how they were damaged, or whether it was relationships or, whatever. There's no limit with me. And my understanding is there's no real limit in that regard on Rumble. So I've been telling you guys about that, inviting you guys to share your story, and you can do that by emailing me right here, dearmomentumcanada@gmail.com. So this is a new email. I just fired it up this morning. I thought it'd be better to have a dedicated email for you guys to email me your story. So you can use this email if you just want to connect with me, even if you don't want to be a part of one of my segments. But if you do want to be a part of my segment and you do want to share your story, whether that's through a recorded video or a video of me talking to someone on the phone, right? I can put anonymous on there. I can even probably distort your voice a little bit if you want to remain anonymous, but I want to have your story heard. So just want to get that out of the way. You guys are welcome to email me at any time. Maybe I'll leave that up for a few minutes and then I'll take it down in case you guys want to write that down. All right. So awesome. Linby says Momentum Canada's Rumble channel. Thank you for pasting that. It should be in the description area as well. I try to post that, but sometimes it doesn't work for me. I'm not a genius with this tech stuff. But yeah, anyway, yes, testimonies. Absolutely. I want to hear your guys' stories, and other people want to hear it too. And I already had Mike Mole on. He's given me permission to use his name. He's a supporter of the channel, and his video's up there. So you can go watch the video called Meet Mike, and he's a great guy. I've interacted with him in this fashion, like I'm interacting with you guys, but I never actually had I guess a digital face-to-face interaction with him. He's such a sweet man, sweet soul. So I really, really enjoyed that. All right. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. I think we're good. Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know about that email. And let's move right into, let's talk about Donald Trump for a few minutes here. So yeah, Lynn says Mike is wonderful. Great guy. He's a great guy. Yeah. So Donald Trump, let's back up. So obviously the train derailment that happened in Ohio, spilling poisonous, just horrible stuff into the ground, into the air, and the lack of media coverage was appalling. And there seemed to be this hush-hush tactic of even keeping independent reporters from reporting anything. There was reports of that. And then there was the political response as well, right? Which was next to nothing. Pete Buttigieg and Biden basically not flinching and not even giving them a wink in support, which it's just appalling. And it's interesting because as soon as Donald Trump announced that he was going to visit, all of a sudden Pete Buttigieg was planning to go. Now, I didn't monitor how that went. If somebody's got some scoop on that, how Pete Buttigieg, his visit went, then please share that. But my understanding is that as soon as Donald Trump said he was going to visit, then all of a sudden, the guy who represents Biden, he's going to go, right? So I just want to share this with you guys. The photos are just great. They're really, really great. Whoever did this, amazing. So here's Mr. Trump here. Former President Donald Trump visited the tiny Ohio town of East Palestine on Wednesday, more than 2 weeks after a fiery train derailment that left some residents fearful of contaminated air and water. Look at that guy. He just looks like a boss. Make America great again. Joined by East Palestine Mayor Trent Conaway, Senator J.D. Vance, R. Ohio, and Donald Trump Jr., the former president toured Little Beaver Creek and water pumps, among other stops. There you go. There's little captions down here. It says Trump looks at Little Beaver Creek and water pumps in East Palestine, Ohio. Oh, I didn't even recognize. That's Donald Trump Jr. right there. I didn't recognize him at first. It's him over there on the right. There's the pumps going. They're spraying. So is that what they're doing? It looks like they're pumping the bad, yucky water out and spraying new stuff in. Is that what it looks like? Caption says Trump, along with East Palestine Mayor Trent Conaway, Senator J.D. Vance, Republican, Ohio, and Donald Trump Jr. tours Little Beaver Creek and water pumps. It's like, just think about this guy. He's not in office, this guy. Former president Donald Trump. Well, to many people, he's still their president. But he's not in office. And this is incredible. This is incredible what he's doing. And it gets better. It gets better. Here he is shaking hands with the folks. Now, obviously, he's running again in, what is it, 2024? So there's obviously a marketing shtick attached to this. But still, at least he's not, at least he doesn't think he's too good for the people. Like, he's in there shaking their hands. And I saw on, I think it was TikTok. It was a TikTok that someone shared on Facebook. So I'm not on TikTok, by the way, because I'm not dumb. Just kidding. But yeah, he was like right up personal, doing videos with the people that wanted videos done. Let me pause here and read your guys' comments. All right. Catch up. Mike's wonderful. Read on. Right on. Vikram is in the house. We should all share our stories, good and bad, leading up to the convoy. Maybe why it was important to stand up together. Yeah, and I'm going to get into this probably. Let me check my notes here a little bit later on. But yeah, I'm going to really touch on the importance of what we do here on the channel and as a community. So stay tuned. A lot to share today. Limby says, East Palestine. Or Palestine, how do you say it? Palestine. Derailment may have been an inside job. This video is worth watching and considering. Interesting. Right on. Firefly says, people I know still have no clue what really happened in Ohio. Yeah, and it's a messy situation, right? Especially like the damage caused. And you see these people that are trying to predict what areas will be affected, in terms of air pollution. And I see people drawing perfect circles of, the radius of how far this stuff can spread. And so they send these circular diagrams to people, and people are freaking out. They're like, oh, I live inside the circle. But there's so much to consider. Wind currents, the way, especially Lake Erie, like when you look at the map where it's all located, there's currents that, make the wind patterns kind of go everywhere. So it's kind of, in my opinion, unpredictable in a sense. But me being a Sarnia-born resident, currently living here in Sarnia, I was told by my dad, who has experience in the plants. He was a millwright mechanic for many, many years, and he seems to believe that they do have the technology to detect, when it becomes too toxic of this, what's the chemical called? I'm blanking on it. Vinyl chloride, because he said that's the type of stuff they deal with in the plants. So I don't know how to fact check that. If you're in Sarnia and you work in the plants, maybe you can confirm that, but that's something my dad told me. So it seems like they have the technology to detect if it's gonna, become a problem here in Sarnia. And it seems to be something they're always monitoring. Excuse me. Brooke Day is in the chat. What's up, guys? Cooking lunch and listening to Brandon. Those are two of my favorite things. Yeah, I gotta cook lunch after this. Guys, I've been trying the diet thing for the past couple of months, but then the past couple of weeks, just, you get super busy and it's just easier to eat out. So you do. So today is my first day back. I'm trying to quench my hunger with a little coffee, but later today I'm going to make a Brandon original, a healthy meal. So I'm looking forward to that. Right after the live stream, I'm going to make myself some lunch. Vikram says, I got a lineup in front, but trying to tune in. Well, you do what you can, bruh. You do what you can. Len B says, take care of business, Vikram. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Brooke, long time. Yeah. Fraser McBurney, well, thank you for the $5 donation. Thank you. Poliev has put his foot in his mouth. It has shown he has been corrupted by the liberals of the Conservative Party, just like Ford has done. Rumble. Yeah, we're gonna dive into that today because I have my own 2 cents of how I view the whole situation, and it's certainly, um, yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah, I got a lot to cover on that. So let's keep going here. Lynn B says, please know that YouTube takes 30% of all donations. We are not government sponsored. Every dollar helps. Please help support the channel at that link. Yes, thank you, Lynn. Yeah, and at the beginning, I shared my book. It's a novel that I wrote, a fictional story about Canada. If you guys buy that, it goes right back into the channel with what we do here. So I appreciate that. It's called A Prayer for Walton Bay. You can get it on Amazon.ca. Fraser says Pierre Polievere has put his foot in his mouth. Okay, I think I just read that. It has shown he has been corrupted by the Liberal Party, the Conservative Party, just like Ford. Rumble all the way. Yeah, and that's part of what I want to get into. Let me see if I can actually, before we shift, I just want to finish up what we were talking about with Trump, but I do want to touch on that. So just bear with me. And man, you guys are lighting up the comments today. It's going to be a little bit slower for me to stay caught up. So let's finish this segment off with Trump. So MSNBC, and I couldn't find the clip for it. This showed up on Facebook, and it looked like someone had screen recorded it. It was from a Bill O'Reilly segment, and he brought up the fact that it was former Senator Claire McCaskill. Tarnishing my good last name. My last name is McCaskill. She was on MSNBC praising Biden for going to Ukraine, and this is while Trump is in Ohio doing this stuff. What you guys see on the screen, showing people that he cares about them. And actually, let me keep going here. This is actually what he. Okay, so he's giving some speeches. Checking out the whole situation. This is leadership right here, folks. This is leadership. This is the difference between people who do and people who just talk. People who don't. People that do and people that don't. So here he is in McDonald's, just buying the folks a bunch of McDonald's. Typical Trump fashion, eh? Using his own money to go buy people McDonald's. So yeah, those were beautiful photos. I wanted to share that with you guys. But yeah, anyways, let's talk about Biden. So Claire McCaskill was on MSNBC and praising Biden, saying, "Oh, you know how wonderful he is," and she went as far as to say, like, he's so brave, stepping into the battleground in Ukraine, while, and this is what she said, while Donald Trump during his presidency was too scared to go to Afghanistan. That's what she said, and the host of MSNBC didn't correct her. Guys, the truth is, do you guys remember when Trump kind of quietly went to Afghanistan during Thanksgiving, where the media was essentially, they were setting up that weekend to make him look like a lazy president? They had articles ready to say, "Oh, he's just on his golf course doing nothing," and there was even a few that published that and had to retract it because Trump all of a sudden slipped that, "Yep, I'm in Afghanistan, didn't let anybody know, and now I'm here supporting our troops." So interesting. I thought that was pretty interesting. But I wanted to bring up that segment. I know this is Momentum Canada, and that's talking about Donald Trump in the States. But we do need to point out good leadership when we see it. And that, to me, is good leadership. That is really, really, really good leadership. All right. So let's close that for now. I'm going to catch up with these comments. I'm going to address this one from Fraser because he makes a good point. Tommy Temper says, hand pink. I don't know what that is. Hand pink waving. Okay, maybe he's just saying hi to me, I guess. Maybe he's just typing out instead of using emojis. I can't believe they emptied those tankers into the ditch before setting the chemicals on fire. Why not empty them into containment units to be hauled away? That's just plain stupid. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, if there's a proper investigation, which I certainly hope there is, I think there's probably going to be a lot of critique in that regard. But we'll see. We'll see. Tommy Temper says, hi, everyone. Hey, Tommy. Great to have you. Lenby says, hiya. Here, lazy morning, enjoying coffee too. Yeah, just kicking back. That's what the stream is all about. Just kicking back, enjoying some dialogue with you guys. Believe it or not, this is my break. I'm a super busy guy, and when I know I can go live at 12, it's just like, oh, yeah, I just get to hang out with my peeps, talk about things that I like talking about, enjoying some coffee. Vikram says, we need someone in power that is not corrupted. Any suggestions? Yeah. Well, I guess to truly trust someone, it's within arm's reach, right? You select who you trust in your own municipal county. I got a few people in mind because I know people personally that I would definitely put my trust in. I mean, yeah. So in that sense, municipally, I guess we just got to be. I don't know. That it is a good question. It is a good question because I'm trying to think as you go farther up the ring, like how do you trust someone at a provincial level, at a federal level? I think it comes down to actions, right? Do their actions match their words? And that's what I'm saying. Excuse me. About Trump, he doesn't just say things. He doesn't just he mouths off online, but then he shows up and does it, right? So I think that is the answer. If the actions are matching the words. Len B says Maxime is not corrupted. See, and there's another aspect to that, because for me, when I see people persecuted, like when people are losing things, Maxime has lost a lot. The guy was arrested. He just smeared continually for years and years and years. Like at any moment, he could decide to sell himself out and sell his soul to the devil, so that all that would stop. But he hasn't. So obviously, the evil powers that be think he's a threat, and to me, that gives me a lot more trust in someone like him. Like that's the thing. I say this all the time. I love the PPC. I love them. Pure message, pure people for the most part. I don't know everybody in the PPC party, but the people that I've interacted with, genuine human beings that they truly want what's best for Canada. And if given the chance, they would get in there and just flush out every seed of corruption. I fully trust that they would do that. But we'll also get into that. We purchased Survey Monkey, says Brooke Day. Awesome. Yeah, me and Brooke are, we do a lot of stuff that, that impacts our city in a positive way. And part of that is gauging what the community wants. And because we fuel ourselves here on Momentum Canada and what he does at Serious for Sarnia on giving people the space to voice what they want, to voice their opinions, and to tell us the problems that matter to them, and come alongside them and say, well, how can we work towards those goals or those visions? So one of the ways we're doing that is using Survey Monkey, which is expensive. It's a monthly subscription. I think Brooke said it's almost $100 a month, but it's very, very useful, engaging people's opinions, in a wider, broader audience sense. So that's something we've invested in because that's something we care about, is downloading people's thoughts and people's aspirations for how they want to see the city grow and shape up. So that's something we've put on our how do you say that? Put on our list of priorities, I guess. So Vikram says, I agree, but many don't know about him. We need to change that. I have met and marched with Maxime with James Top. Oh, that's awesome. That would have been a great opportunity. I have personal friends that have had the opportunity to march with James Topp, and that was an incredible moment to be alive. That was really, really something. Really, really something. John Mallett says Conservative Party has a new slogan. Oh gosh, I can't believe it's not liberal. There's our comedian. There's John Mallett. Welcome, John. Last June to Ottawa. The vets are not corrupted either. V4F blah, 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 has hope. Tom Moranzo is good. I believe that too. I believe that too about Tom. I got into watching his stuff early on in the trucker campaign, trucker protest, and just his story really resonated with me. He's a father of a medical child, and so am I. So I think he connected with me on that level, and his level of passion as well to see change in this country really struck me. Chris Freestone, Diagolon strikes again. Yeah, let me catch up, and I'm going to go right into that whole mess. It's a mess. Let's be honest, it's a mess. Mary L says, old Slashy for the win. Trump spent his own money to bring truckloads of water and other necessities to the people of East Palestine. MSM Liberal News called that super gross. Yeah, well, they're super gross for saying that. Just throw it right back at them. They're super gross. Biden is just an older version of Trudeau. That's true. Trump's job is only to corrupt the Middle East and destroy Islamic way of life for the people there. I'd have to dissect that one a little bit more, because I don't agree with that. I don't. I'm sorry. People like Daniel Banny Belford are amazing, down to earth, and heroes for this country. We need to empower the good people. Yeah. And I'm thankful you guys are saying this, because I'm going to be going into this. I am. Let me just catch up here. You guys are. I don't know if I can catch up. So let's move on. Let's talk about Pierre versus Christine Anderson. Okay, so let me share with you guys the screen, if I can. I have so many tabs open. All right, let's share this one first. So this is from Brian Lilly. I think this is the one that was kind of going viral over the past few days. From Brian Lilly, Chris. This is a So statement from Conservative leader Pierre Polievere on the 3 Conservative MPs who met with European MEP Christine Anderson earlier this week. Christine Anderson's views are vile. And this is from the office of Pierre Polievere. And have no place in our politics. The MPs were not aware of this visiting member of the European Parliament's opinions, and they regret meeting with her. Frankly, it would be better if Anderson never visited Canada in the first place. She and her racist, hateful views are not welcome here. Now, admittedly, I have not done a deep dive into Kristen Anderson. But here is my assumption, assessment, whatever you want to call it, because I know a few things that are true. So let me close that for a second. Let me bring up some images. You guys, some of you know where I'm going with this. So this fella here, Jeremy McKenzie, founder, CEO, whatever you want to call him, of Diagolon, the comedy, satirical, mocking of politics group called Diagolon, which their territory runs on a diagonal. It's just so funny. Sorry. It is funny, but here's the problem with getting too close to being damaging to your own side. And Jeremy has done that. And I've never had Jeremy on the show, but just based on what I know about him, I would think that he does regret some things he said. There's, for the example of him, saying the inappropriate remarks about Pierre's wife. That wasn't a good look for us. It wasn't. We got to be honest there. It wasn't. Now, there's a video it's associated with him. It wasn't his podcast, but I believe he was on the podcast. Maybe you guys can correct me on that. But at the beginning of the trucker convoy, there was someone on this show on YouTube saying that they wanted the trucks to barrel through barriers, like knock down barriers with their trucks. And that made national news. So, I mean, I'm sure even if you watch that video, it'd probably be taken out of context and it was probably clearly a joke. But that said, I totally support people's freedom of speech to make jokes. But at the same time, like, I understand I have that freedom, but at the same time, I do understand how it can be taken out of context. So I'm super, super careful. And when I see someone not really making an effort to be careful, that's when I kind of roll the eyes in the back of my head. All that said, Trudeau actually did meet with Jeremy, not Trudeau, sorry. Pierre Polievere actually did meet with Jeremy Mackenzie at one point. And this was before the little comment that Jeremy had made about his wife. So there was a connection there. But then as soon as that happened, this distancing started happening from Pierre, right? Can't have anything to do with Diagolon. They're racist. They're this, that, whatever his tweet said from his office. But I just want to make sure I can close this. Okay, so here's one more picture. Yeah, so it's all comedy, right? All comedy. They're making a mockery of politics. If you listen to their podcast, they're joking and they're laughing the entire time. And for me, the funniest part about Diagolon is how they managed to have their name spoken in Parliament as justification for evoking the Emergencies Act. It came off of elected officials' lips. That to me is important. That's what makes their comedy important. But like I said, they weren't careful enough to tarnish our name, their name, and it becomes too easy of a target. So let me close that. Let me catch up with your guys' comments, even though I know that's not going to happen. Trump destroyed himself when he destroyed innocent people. Yeah, I don't mean to disrespect you, Tahira Omar, but that would just require a long debate. So I'm just going to agree to disagree right now. Shine on. Maxime Bernier also has a WEF bio. Don't know why, but it's there. Yeah, well, my assessment, and I've said this all along, is that the WEF wasn't always this wacko, crazy. I mean, sure they were, but they didn't, publicly announce themselves as crazy. Right now, they're not ashamed of being crazy. So I think even before like 2015, on the surface and what the public could see, it looked like a pretty good organization. So that's my explanation when people say, this person was involved, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, my benefit of the doubt is, well, maybe they were just a part of it during that non-crazy time. I think that's fair. Right on. All right. However, that said, if I were running for a government seat, I'd want to go to the WF to hear with my own ears what their policies are. Then I would use that info to backstab them. It's really nice to be here with everyone, listening to truth. The problem with working is knowing how few people are aware. Yes. We'll use it nationally, too. Yeah. So okay, cool. So Brooke's saying that we'll use SurveyMonkey. We'll use that nationally to gauge, because I think this is how we win the cultural battle, right, and the political battle. And I'm trying not to. I guess we can start talking about this now because it's on topic. Okay, so this is my assessment with what's going on with Pierre and Anderson. And we love to say that, oh, Pierre's just someone uses the word cuck. I don't. What does the word cuck mean? I don't know. I'm so innocent. It could be something bad. So sorry if that's something bad. I take it back. Um, that he's evil, that he's a two-faced, or that he's just a fake and a phony. But I want to understand what's going on. So this is what I think what is going on. I see the Conservative Party as reliant. They rely on perception rather than principle. So let's replace those words. Instead of principle, let's say the truth. They don't really care about the truth because how they look is more important. They don't win elections with worrying about what is true. They win elections based on what the public perceives to be true. And now I can't fully fault them for that. I think the fault lies in the media being controlled. It's government funded, it's government controlled. And we're about to witness the greatest takeover of government control on our media. So the problem is the media drives the narrative. Truth is conspiracy. So talking about truth really doesn't help anybody. But there is a but. And I think this is where the hope lies. Because people like the PPC, they ride on principle. They ride on principle. And like I said, this principle, this truth, it won't get you elected. But we still need people fighting for principle. We still need people fighting for the truth. Because what's happening is people are waking up. You guys have already said that in the comments. People are waking up. Grassroots movements, like media organizations like myself, Clyde Do Something, Mr. Sunshine Baby, Small Fringe Minority, shout out to you guys. All these little grassroots movements have sprouted up everywhere, and it's becoming more and more popular. So the solution, I think, is for you guys to continue to push and support guys like us, little guys like us. And the more we do that, the more we starve the establishment funded media, then I think we have a good shot at changing the public opinion. I think that's what it comes down to, because, and I got to be careful. There was a certain world war that resulted in a lot of average, ordinary citizens being convinced that horrible atrocities were okay, that it was justified. Now, how did this corrupt establishment convince the public of this? Through controlling the media, through controlling the narrative, through framing this group as evil, pinning groups against groups. That's how they did it. That's how they succeeded. So, that said, continue doing what you're doing. You're watching this show because you know you can't go to CBC for the truth. You know you can't go to CTV for the truth. So just continue what you're doing. And like I said before, don't just be talkers. Do something. Share this video. If you can't afford it, like if you can't afford supporting us, just share it. That's free. Subscribe. That's free. Like it. It's free. Go over to Mr. Sunshine Baby. Do the same thing, right? And I think that's how we'll gain traction and give the people like the PPC who fight on principle a better chance. because it has to happen. We can't just keep saying that, um, one day they'll win. Because right now, maybe it's not just about removing Trudeau. Maybe it's about getting members of parliament representing PPC, right? Maybe that's what it's about. Just fill a few seats. Get involved with some of the policy in the debates that go on. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that. Perception versus the truth. That's what I really think it comes down to, because um, locally, I don't know if I want to get into this, but so Brooke Day, local city council candidate. He ran for last election. He bleeds blue, right? Conservative guy, voted conservative his entire life. He reached out to our MP representative, who's a conservative, and he figured, you know what, two fellow conservatives, let's have each other's backs. Let's kind of rub each other's shoulders and work something out, which is fine. And she did. I got to give her credit. She did, in a couple different ways. But as soon as the news for Jeremy McKenzie, the comment he made about Pierre's wife, as soon as that hit the media, I saw it as Brooke's campaign manager. I saw the distancing from this particular MP, because I, as his campaign manager, am unashamedly populist, unashamedly for the truckers, for freedom of speech, for freedom of choice in regards to medical treatment. And I've sent her a couple of emails that were a bit heated, not disrespectful, but it was a passionate email. And I sent a couple of those regarding James Topp, some things, regarding digital ID. So she knows who I am. She knows what I stand for. And as soon as a little bit of bad perception was attached, so Jeremy McKenzie, part of the populist movement, Brandon's a part of that, Brooke associates himself with Brandon, gone. That's what I noticed. Perception matters to them more than principle. And again, some of the blame is to be put on them. Because just, as a human being, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. But as a party, I'm saying I understand that they can't win based on principle. You can't. Not in Canada. Not in Canada, where the media is controlled. Let me know if that makes sense. All right, I apologize, guys. I'm getting to the comments. Right on. Great to have you, Mary. I need to sneeze here. 1 second. Right on. Exactly what I'd want to hear it with my own ears. Okay, cool. We only could speculate. Exactly right, John. A very big concern for those who have kids is parents' rights. Wokeism, gender theology, and CRT is being brought into all Canadian schools, and teachers are getting in between us kids. Homeschool, man or woman. I don't know if you're a woman or a man, but that's what I'm doing. I just can't. I was talking to my buddy last weekend and went out for breakfast. He's like, dude, it's almost like every other day I have to like quiz my kid. Like, how many genders are there? He said, I have to because he's around it all day. And luckily he's got a pretty smart kid that has a good head on his shoulders, and he's raising him best he can. But to me, it's just like, man, I work from home, so I'm a little bit more, I guess, privileged than other people, but that's something my wife and I are going to do. We're going to homeschool. I don't trust Brian Lilly either. Okay. I actually don't know too much about Brian Lilly. Ezra Levant did a video about PP and Christine. PP chose to I feel a little uncomfortable calling him PP. PP chose to believe the headlines rather than actually investigating what he was told. If Christine were actually anti-Semite, she'd be in jail. Yeah, I mean, I did dig in a little bit about what she believes. I tend to agree with her. I agree with her because before politics, the only thing I usually would engage in online is, and because I just thoroughly enjoyed it, was religion, and I would get tons of different perspectives from people, including Islam. And some of her views is just like they're reasonable. Like if you look at the nitty gritties of what is true, again, right? Principle, what is true, it doesn't matter because it's too nitty gritty. The mass audience isn't going to investigate to make sure to give her the benefit of the doubt. That's not going to happen. The mass audience is going to take the perception. Oh, right. She's associating herself with a comedy group that's essentially pretending they're terrorists. That's how they see it, and that's how the media. That's why the media is such a parasite, such a thing we need to just starve, continue to starve it. Chris, oh, yeah, Chris Freestone. I don't think I've had you here before. Chris, great to have you. The government thinks kids are state property. Yeah, it's sad. It's certainly sad because I've seen that in the culture that it's not so much about kids. It's not. It's about pushing their ideologies. That seems to be a consistent thread with a lot of things. If this claim against PP were untrue, he would be screaming very loudly to denounce the accusation. He's not. It's true. No, I believe it's legit. I believe it's legit based on the story that I told you with my local MP, like, because that seems to be their posturing currently. Political satirist. Oh, is that who, what's his face is? Brian Lilly? Is he a satirist? But, well, even like Rebel News and a few others, independent journalists had interviewed Kristen Anderson, and she's given a response. I don't think it's satire. I guess we'll find out. That's the first time I've heard someone suggest that, but I I guess I'll see if that's. I'll take it back. I'll take all this back if that's what it comes out as. Firefly, is that what comes up when you Google him? I can't remember what I was talking about. That's the problem with getting behind in comments. Pierre is a plant of the libtards. Is a plant. That's the accusation, right? LOL, out of context for sure. Lily doesn't get to demand what PP must or must not announce. Sometimes jokes are tasteless, but still jokes. That's true. That's true. Right? I might not like the joke, right? But he has the freedom to say it. And sometimes they're not helpful. See, that's what I wish. If I was Pierre Poliev, I'd be like, you know what? I deeply despise these jokes that these people are saying, but I support their right to do it. Right? That's the type of honor I want to see in a person. That's the type of respect I want to see in a person where they hold freedom to a high standard like that. Because just because you support someone's right to speak freely, it doesn't mean you align with them, and I think that's what's so important in politics. I'm learning that because being a campaign manager, you get to learn a lot of things about how people react and how to communicate effectively. And one of the things you have to learn is that it's okay to have a personal opinion as long as you continually make it clear that it's separate from what you want to see as public policy. Okay, so for example, I am against. I'm a Christian, by the way, so I have a bias of great measure. Let's put it that way. I am against drag queens. Period. For adult show, for kids, that's just a personal opinion of mine. I would never want to legislate something that kept adults from doing that, from enjoying that type of entertainment, right? So that's the difference. I have a personal opinion on it, And if somebody's asking me what's my personal opinion, I'll tell them. I'll tell them that. But I'm not going to try to legislate that or, try to, in any way, try to make it harder for them to do what they want. That's not who I am. So as long as we're communicating that effectively, I think we're going to do fine. And I think that's kind of the bedrock of Western civilization, right? Letting people live the way they want to live. And there are some parameters, obviously, surrounding terrorism and things that disrupt other people's lives. But that's basically the fundamentals of Western society is live and let live, the melting pot, right? Trying to find ways to tolerate one another. I also didn't like Jeremy's joke, but I didn't condemn him for it. He was drunk and stupid, but not malicious. Yeah. West has money for wars, but not to look after its citizens. Yeah, there's a lot of problems I'm sure we could agree on in terms of war, for sure. It's just not the topic of today's episode, so I don't want to get too far down a bunny trail. You know what I mean? So I respect your opinion. Tahara, is that how you say it? Tahara Omar? Mary Al, for sure, Lynn, agree. Right on. How about the pictures of PP meeting with Bill Gates? Sad thing is, it's all political spectacles to confuse and distract from what's really happening. He went to Ukraine, right? Saying we stand with you, Ukraine. Meanwhile, we have homeless people lining up at the Salvation Army, and I myself am handing them a meal. And they're saying, man, why is our government giving money to Ukraine when we're desperate for meals? Doesn't make sense. Pierre is not for us. I saw his pick in right up on the WEF prior to the site being scrubbed. Him and Rempel, full-on Schwab proteges. Fair opinion, but like I said before, I give people the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that because I've seen so many people on there. But to me, it's just not rock solid evidence. Maybe it's like a piece of evidence that can build to something, but it's got to. My confidence level has to. That's the thing, right? Somebody asked me that, like, how do you measure truth? Like, how do you know something is true? I said, well, what's the confidence level, right? if it's a crime scene and you have evidence after evidence, my confidence is rising that it was actually this person. But if you're kind of making things up and filling gaps, you kind of start doubting yourself. There's no confidence there. Jonathan Mallet says, Diagolon is the second meme country I've belonged to. Him and Philip, the drug addicted ceramic goat from space, make great leaders. Gosh. And John, while we're on that, and just talking about I think humor is important in politics. When you can laugh at yourself, when you can laugh at other people and like be really good at it, where it's actually funny and most times when it's true, like regardless of what you think of Donald Trump, he was a master meme guy. I think Elon Musk is pretty funny too. And even at a local level, and I just had an interview with a local media guy. It's going to be posted on Facebook tonight, I think, actually. We got on the subject of talking about humor and how it correlates into politics. It's needed, guys, because this stuff, you guys could probably relate. Politics really sucks sometimes. It weighs heavy on your mind. Sometimes it just drives your stress through the roof. And sometimes it feels like you can't escape it, I guess. But what I've learned is that you need to learn to laugh. You need to learn to breathe. You need to learn to not take yourself so seriously. And when you learn that, you tend to react in that way as well to other people. Because I notice people that are new to politics, they're a little bit more blunt and more heavy-fisted with going after people. For me, I used to be like that. I'd get so like riled up. But then I started to realize, if I'm showing that I'm just super aggressive, that's showing them that I am stressed out on the other side of the screen, that I am making this personal and tapping myself out of mental energy. We gotta learn to breathe. We gotta, and I think humor is a great way to do that. Maxime denounces WF now. He may have a bio when he was in cabinet. Yeah, there you go. All part of the narrative. They must make you aware so they can carry out their plans while we all watch, and everyone complies. WF has never changed. Just most are only aware due to this C-19. Thomas says, didn't a recent poll reveal most people do not trust mainstream media? I believe it. The problem is, despite, like, right now, I think the grassroots movements are doing phenomenal. People are just really tuning in to independent media. I think that we're doing really, really well, and we certainly can improve. But we can't stop the funding. We can't stop the funding of CBC. It's always going to be fed by the Trudeau government, regardless of their the viewership, right? If their ratings just plummet, they're still going to be funded. So it's not going to. That's not what I'm getting at when I say, starve the mainstream media or the legacy media. I'm saying starve them of their viewership. Like, even if they have money to keep going, if nobody's watching it, then whatever. Make them feel like the little guy, the little guy in the room. Make them unimportant. That's what I say to some of my friends that I get talking to. If you really, despise someone, if you feel they're just like morally corrupt and like we get the drag queen story time subject coming up all the time for kids. And sometimes you got to learn when to just ignore them. Stop making them important. Like, if you can recognize when you've already won the argument and just not letting it continue, just letting them kind of fall away as irrelevant and unimportant, and that you're the one playing offense and you're the one that's actually out in the community doing good stuff, just leave them behind you. Stop bringing them back into the forefront, and continue waking people up and continue showing people that you are the type of person that's the doer, that's the go-getter, and that's, and as you're doing that, you're displaying and demonstrating the values that you want to see made in public policy. So I don't know if that made sense, but anywho, Lenby says, the important thing with Maxime is that he also denounces the UN. Key, right? Because there's the UN and WEF. UN is like the mothership, right? And then the WF is like the redheaded stepchild. Cuckold, being present as your wife, get railed by another dude. Okay. Thank you for defining that. Yes, Len, the UN needs to be dismantled. Thomas Gordon, whether or not, okay, you guys are chatting. Yes, the media is misleading the people. This is a crime on so many levels. Problem is that even in the truth community, as it's called, as people are still too divided on their ideas on what is what. You know what? I'm finding I have a local Facebook page called Momentum Sarnia. Sarnia is my little city here. And I'm starting to notice there are some topics that we're uniting on, right versus left. Like, we fight all the time, back and forth, drag queen this, blah, blah, blah. But there's some things where we're all saying, yep, we agree with that. Like Justin Trudeau, idiot, right? There's so many people like on the freedom movement side that agree with him that Pierre isn't a shill. So there's a lot of things that are crossover topics. And now I think as the truth comes out, more and more, I think there's going to be more and more opportunities for that. That's my hope, at least. I'm seeing it. Just hope it continues. Vikram says, people keep speaking out. The truth is getting out. That's right. Get out. That's, I know that's not what you're saying, but we need to get out. Be the leaders in your communities. Be the people that get out and, try to do something, or get behind people who can do something. Right. That's why I share with you guys Serious for Sarnia. And a lot of people say, the policy, the local municipal policy, boring stuff isn't very good for entertainment on your on your channel. So, well, it's not, the point isn't for entertainment. It's to show you guys that we're doing our best to influence the people within arm's reach so that you can go, how can I do something similar in my area? That's the entire purpose of Serious for Sarnia. And I want to give Brooke huge props because that's an area of politics where it's hard to, I guess, be funny or to have memes. We still try to incorporate memes because sometimes it's just you can't resist it. But the topics he talks about, like numbers, like budgets, city planning, that type of stuff is dry. It's dry, but it is that that strategy of playing offense rather than defensive, always, defending your position. It's showing the people that we are the ones that you should want to elect into office because we get things done, right? Tristan says, let's face it, no politician is going to fix anything here in Canada. Canada has been backstabbed by JT, and Klaus said it himself that our cabinet has been infiltrated. They are all on the same side. I can agree with that. I can agree with that, Tristan. ATF says anyone speaking real truth doesn't have 100K plus subs. It just isn't the case. They are allowed to have that platform. Let me read that again. Anyone speaking real truth doesn't have 100K plus. Well, actually, Mr. Sunshine Baby, he's doing super well. I think he's over 200,000. Clyde Do Something, he's over 100. I'm sitting at 13,000. So I have some growing to do. But I think we'll get there. No hurry. Big ups at Momentum Canada. Shout out to the chat. Big ups. Right on. Canadian Unfiltered. Thank you for that comment. Thank you. Right on. You guys are all having some chats. Pitchforks are coming. God bless Brighton and Mike Adams. The problem is that the population is being normalized to corruption. Yeah, it's true. Well, it's been that way for so long. I think it's been that way for so long. And what's different is that people, especially young people, now I'm talking like 20s to 30, between 20 and 30, I'm starting to notice people at that age are paying attention. I don't remember ever even having one slight interest in politics when I was that age. I mean, I'm 32, but it didn't start till late 20s. But especially young people, I'm seeing young people starting to look around, and that's what we want. We want young people doing that, and that's the shift that's going on, I think, because before the internet and before social media, there wasn't really grassroots movements that could have such an impact as we're having right now. So I think that's what's different. Thank you, Len. She's just saying, please remember to like this video to feed the algorithms and then share it out to help grow the channel. Thanks for your help. Appreciate it. Yeah. True that. Yeah. The numbers on this channel are increasing. That is proof that the word is getting out or getting around. It may take longer, but we can't stay silent. Expect others to stand up for us. It's the power here and every vote PPC. Trudeau gets in. Yeah. I think that's a sad reality. And like I said, that's because PPC are principled, and principle doesn't get you voted in. That's the reality. And we need to, unless we really vamp this up. I mean, guys, let's get me 1 million subscribers. Let's get Clyde Do Something 2 million subscribers. We need to be the dominating tech giants. We need them to be afraid of us. You need to hear from me that, they're coming after me. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear that they're coming after me because I'm going to find an alternative way to get the news to you guys. to have these chats with you guys. That's what we need to do. We need to do that. Pierre lost my vote. I'm hearing that. I'm hearing a lot of people saying, because they were caught in this, what do I do? And they're trying to vote strategically and what's best. And I'm seeing a lot of people after what broke a couple of days ago that Pierre lost their vote. I get it. Vote PP Trudeau is still in. PP's Trudeau has been showing lately. Maybe it's just a matter of getting as many MPs in Parliament as you can, just so that they can have a foot in the door. Because that would be a start. That would be a start. A vote for Pierre is a vote for Shabbat Lubavitch. I don't know how to say that. Tristan says, if everyone stopped voting Khan and went PPC, then PPC would have a chance. You just don't vote Khan thinking it won't get in because he did last time. Yeah. It's hard. It's a hard thing to communicate because you do have to. For me, I know what I'm voting. I know I'm not going to say, but you do have to face reality. You do have to face the reality of how things work and what I've been saying this entire time, that conservatives vote on image because that's what the masses look at. Right now, the masses are what get him elected. Well, and we're going to be talking about this next because apparently here's another, I guess, crossroads we can kind of, or bunny trail we can go down of how this recent leak from the intelligence agency, high intelligence agency in Canada, talking about how China's helping Trudeau. Now, I got to be careful, guys. At this point, I probably should be going off to Rumble to talk about this because you can't talk about election integrity on YouTube. But let me share this with you. I'll just be careful with what I'm saying. Now, this is from the Toronto Sun. Here's Lily again, same guy. New report names candidate CSIS claims got help from China. But Prime Minister Justin Trudeau continues to pretend there is no issue. Like, that just baffles my mind. To confront your accuser, and the accuser I'm saying that wrong. To confront the person you're accusing, and that person being accused saying, no, it's not true. And then you taking that as gospel and then just kind of sweeping it under the rug. Like, what's going on? Another day in shocking revelation involving allegations China attempt to interfere with Canada's democracy. Sadly, also another attempt by our Prime Minister to try and obfuscate and pretend there isn't an issue to address. Justin Trudeau and his officials are now being critical of the very intelligence agencies that he says protect our system. Yeah, our intelligence agencies definitely shouldn't be leaking information that make me look bad because, well, Canada is not secure if they make me look bad. On Friday, Global News, that's just me. I didn't read that anywhere. That's just me making that up. On Friday, Global News reported allegations that Trudeau Liberals were warned that China had interfered to help secure the Liberal nomination in Don Valley North for Han Dong. According to the report, CSIS asked the Liberals to rescind Dong's nomination over interference concerns, but the party refused. The Toronto Sun has not verified the allegations in the Global News story. Okay. The claims from CSIS include that the Chinese consulate sent busloads of Chinese seniors into the nomination meeting with Dong's name written on their arm, and that Chinese students studying in Canada were given fake addresses and told to vote for Dong in the nomination meeting if they wanted to maintain their student visa status, according to the CSIS briefing. Okay, so yeah, we read that. Let me share this last one with ya. And like I said, I'll get to your comments. Don't you worry. I try to get to every single one. All right, here we go. This is a video I shared to my politics group. Let me close some stuff here so you can see it.
Attempt to hide it from Canadians. Those are, did the Chinese Communist Party steal the 2021 Canadian election? And did Justin Trudeau attempt to hide it from Canadians? Those are the very serious allegations being put forward after an absolute bombshell report from the Globe and Mail. It revealed leaked secret and top secret documents from CSIS, Canada's highest intelligence agency, that detailed, quote, a sophisticated strategy to disrupt Canada's democracy in the 2021 federal election campaign. And the documents actually lay out in black and white what the Chinese were trying to accomplish to defeat what they perceived to be hostile Conservative MPs and to re-elect Justin Trudeau. And quite ominously, they succeeded on both accounts. Not only was Trudeau re-elected, but almost all the Conservative MPs most critical of Beijing lost their seats. In fact, the documents reveal shocking details that China's former consul general in Vancouver openly bragged about how she helped defeat Conservative MP Kenny Chiu, who had taken a firm stance against the communist regime and criticized their crackdown in Hong Kong, including in my documentary series, Politics Explained.
Ordinary Canadians, when you talk about the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, they would think of it in the mindset, in the mind frame as like, oh, the Liberal Party of Canada, and that would be the biggest mistake that they could make. No political party that you and I or anybody in the West understand accumulates so much power. The People's Liberation Army, the PLA, it's the army for the party. The legislature, it's completely controlled and appointed by the so-called CCP party. The banking system, the economy, the corporations, they hold loyalty to the CCP. Never in human history has a regime that is so powerful. That's what we're talking about.
So how exactly did China target and defeat MPs like Kenny Chiu? Well, the documents reveal that too, saying, quote, China employed disinformation campaigns and proxies connected to Chinese Canadian organizations in Vancouver and the GTA to voice opposition to the Conservatives and favor the Trudeau Liberals. It also lays out how they funneled undeclared cash donations and paid staff from China to the local Liberal campaigns. But as concerning as this election interference is, what might be even worse is the fact we are finding out about it, not from our own government or police, but from a whistleblower and a newspaper. In fact, our own Prime Minister alleged to the public there was no meddling at all as recently as last November, even though the Globe reported he had received an intelligence briefing on just that earlier that same year. A contradiction that opposition leader Pierre Polievere pounced on.
First of all, with regards to the Globe story, it's clear that Justin Trudeau has been covering up the interference of the authoritarian regime in Beijing. He claims he never knew anything about it. But is it really believable? Is it really believable that our foreign intel, is it really believable that CSIS would write an entire report and share it with foreign governments without actually telling our own Prime Minister? Is it really believable that the many reports that have been written over the last 4 years about this, that have now come to light in newspapers because they've been leaked by courageous whistleblowers inside our intelligence apparatus, never were brought before the Prime Minister of Canada? Of course, that is not believable. Justin Trudeau knew about this interference, and he covered it up because he benefited from it. He is perfectly happy to let a foreign authoritarian government interfere in our elections as long as they're helping him.
Look, in light of all this information, I think it would be worthwhile for Canadians to ask themselves two very important questions. One, why was the Chinese regime so desperate to have Justin Trudeau re-elected Prime Minister? And two, how long did Trudeau know about the scale of meddling in the last election? And once he found out, why did he not disclose it to Canadians? We need to remember that this is a regime that has repressed its own people, threatened to invade its neighbors, and literally kidnapped 2 Canadian citizens. If we want to remain a sovereign and credible country, not only do we have to stand up to any kind of this belligerent behavior, but the political leaders who benefited from it most need to be the first to call it out.
There you go. Tons of question marks, eh? Well, guys, I'm going to run an ad here. And while I do that, I'm going to try to catch up with your comments. So just give me, this is just about a minute. So bear with me. This is from Immuniboost.
Are you feeling run down and constantly getting sick? Are you struggling to bounce back post-pandemic as quickly as you used to? If so, you may be experiencing a depleted immune system. Fortunately, there is a solution. It's called Ancient Immunizone with Adaptogen from the JVJ DNA company. JVJDNA.com's founder has developed a new immune-boosting supplement specifically designed to support and strengthen your immune system, helping you to feel your best and stay healthy. His supplement contains a unique herbal formula called Adaptogen. Adaptogen has been shown to support optimal immune function. With regular use, you can expect to see an improvement in your overall health and well-being and shake off the post-pandemic blues. So why wait? Start supporting your immune system today and take control of your health. Try the JVJ DNA Ancient Immunizone with Adaptogen and see the difference for yourself. And don't forget, you can use promo code FIT24 and save yourself 10%. That's FIT24 for 10% off any order at the JVJDNA.com web store.
Right on. Just catching up with your guys' comments. You guys are fantastic. A lot of good arguments and points you guys are bringing up as well. There's a couple I want to refer back to. So Gun Cotton 1 says, Diagolung and Jeremy McKenzie's followers are anti-Semitic and hate-filled. I'll be honest with you, I don't follow the guy. I'll be honest with you, but I support the guy. I support his right. I don't support what he says. I'm sure there's a lot that he says that I do agree with, but no. I think that's the beauty of being a part of the populace, because to me, the very definition of populism is like individual freedoms, right? And holding that to the highest standard that we can. And so with that comes individual responsibility, right? So like me and Jeremy could stand on a sidewalk protesting, respect our rights, yelling at our government, respect our rights, and we would be in agreement. But as soon as he throws a tomato at a car going by, I'm going to be like, dude, why'd you do that? Right? Like you're allowed to disagree with people in a free and democratic society, right? That's what we're supposed to be. So ATF says, good counterpoint, but how many will act on their intuitions and not fall for the carrot on the stick when it comes time? I'm not sure what that was referring to. I think it's just talking about the choice between Pierre and PPC. Excuse me. Yeah, I think it's just going to have to come down to people just doing what they want. Vote for what you want. And this is where I want to be careful, because I don't want there to be a drive of division with people. Respect people's decision, whatever it is. If they decide to vote for Pierre, if they decide to vote for Maxime, please respect them, because it is a hard decision. Don't let something like that cause division. right? That's my best advice. That's my best advice. And that's how I would treat my friends, because I understand. Because I think there are people that wish they didn't vote for Pierre, but to me, they have a logical reason why they should. It's this very hard thing, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I'm struggling with it. I'm struggling to articulate and be fair on both sides. That's what I try to do here, because I know it's a mixed crowd here. There's people that are pro Pierre, and then people that are pro. I don't think there's a lot of people that are anti PPC. I don't think there's a lot of people that are anti. They just see the weakness of not winning an election. I think that's the biggest problem. There could be people in the comments that don't like PPC flat out, but I think that's unpopular. But that's how I'll answer that. Fighting Hate 101 says, if they replace drag queen story time with a trans person, would you object? Absolutely. I actually have a video on this. You can go on my channel. You won't miss it. You might have to scroll down a little bit because I made it a couple months ago. But I give 6 reasons. Now I know there's a lot more reasons, but I give 6 good points as to why I don't support Drag Queen Story Hour for kids. And there's a testimony from an actual drag queen. Actually, I quote one drag queen, and there's a video testimony from a drag person, and then a testimony from a trans person. And a lot of it comes down to, for me at least, is that kids need their parents, because parents have the ability to differentiate between imagination and reality. Like right now, my kid thinks he's Optimus Prime. He runs around the living room going, "This is Optimus Prime, and I have come to save the humans." But at lunchtime, I say, "All right, kiddo, time to drop the act. It's time to eat your chicken nuggets," right? Because Optimus Prime probably doesn't eat chicken nuggets. So that said, kids need parents to snap them out of imagination. It's not our job to affirm them and say, yeah, you are Optimus Prime. Let's go sign you up for some metallic surgery. We'll glue some tires on you and some windshield wipers. Right on. No, and I think that's the danger. Kids need their parents and their ability to reason, because they can't reason on their own. And there's something else I wanted to say. Oh, the founder of Drag Queen Storytime, and I'm blanking on her name. She was the first one to do it in the States, and it became a thing. There's a website. I want to say, I think it's Michelle Tea. Her mission statement on her website. It's a quote, a big long quote, but at the end of it, essentially it says, "We create a space for children to be their authentic selves." What in the world does that mean? Did the playground not offer that for kids to be their authentic selves? What they mean is, this is a space that gives parents and certain leaders the opportunity to insert certain ideologies to affirm kids if they feel like a girl, or to just kind of, just passively, I guess, teach them that there is nothing wrong with kids, with a young boy feeling like he's a girl. That's where the sneakiness is, the subtleness is. And for me, it's not so much about it being for adults, which is a huge part of it. I don't think grown adults should be shaking their naked butts in front of kids. That's a huge part of it. But for me, it's the ideological grooming. It's introducing something to kids that they're not ready for. That's the angles I come at. And again, if parents want their kids to attend that, if they're showing up to like a private bookstore, that's what happens locally here. It's called The Bookkeeper. And they hold these drag queen storytime events, and they have protesters that show up putting up a stink. I always said, you know what? They're a private business. The parents are going there willingly with their kids. Let them do it. I don't agree with it, right? Again, it's a personal thing. I don't agree with it. But they have that freedom within their private business. But, and this is the big old but, I like big butts and I cannot lie. As soon as it starts becoming public, funded by the taxpayer, that's where I'm going to be like, heck no, Joe, heck no. And that's why I don't mind engaging the conversation right now, but I engage it through the lens of you can do what you want privately on private property, in your private home, whatever. But I'm going to engage why I think it's wrong so that when we get to that point, I don't think it's at that point right now, at least in Sarnia. When it gets to the point of them saying, okay, we're going to hold it at the public library, I'm going to be like, right? I'm engaging it now so that they're aware of the people like me who are against it. I don't want it to just become a surprise that, oh, there's people that don't like this. I'm kind of giving them a foreshadowing of what's to come if they do try to make me pay for it, right? So I'll leave that there. Thanks for that question. Sorry, guys. You guys have just been lighting up the comments, so it's hard to stay on top. And I apologize if I do miss your comment. It's not on purpose. Just know that. It's not on purpose. I'm trying to get to every single comment. Where were we here? Man, you guys are great. Okay. I think we're getting there. There we are. All right, we saw that one. I object to drag, period. Really, it's much like blackface, except it's woman face. That's a point that I make in my video. Like, where are the feminists saying this is woman face? It's appropriating women. I'm with you on that. But again, that's a personal opinion of mine. Personal opinion. People are free to disagree. It's just my personal opinion. He is a CISIS agent. Ooh. Oh, he's talking about Mr. Sunshine Baby. Uh-oh. Sunshine Baby. I can't wait for people to start accusing me of like being controlled opposition because it's funny to me because I'm literally just a guy in my basement drinking Timmy's. Can't wait for the day. Oh, but he also says Clyde is good, but isn't putting out truth besides talking about headlines. Good for him making people aware, but Last America Vagabond, Whitney Webb, Ernie Racing, James Corbett, just to name a few. Yeah. Well, that's the thing with running a YouTube channel, right? You gotta hit the headlines because those are the things that rank in the algorithm. That's the another part of the battle too, right? You got to stay relevant. So if I'm just sitting here talking about nothing, you guys aren't going to want to watch that, are you? I don't have a lot of interesting things to say without headlines. I mean, I could give you some opinions, but I think that would get boring fast. Nobody cares until it directly affects what's important to them. That's 100% correct. That's 100% correct. I've seen that over and over and over again with people who, were against certain things. And then as soon as it came to their front door, they're like, oh, I guess this is serious. Well, duh. But we got to get good at foreseeing these things, predicting when they're coming. And don't be afraid of people calling you conspiracy theorists. Now maybe don't tell everybody the sky is falling, but it's okay to let people know, like, here's some, dots that are about to connect and line up, like forecast things that are about to happen so that you can be prepared. Yeah, that is an important distinction, right? We got to be careful not to lose our audience by coming across as a loon, as a quacko, which that's why I try to have reason and common sense grounding me at all times. I try not to make conclusive statements. If I say something that I regret in a video or whatever, I'll take it down. And I'll take a step back and look at myself. Was what I said right? And if not, own that. I think that's the best way forward. Right on, you guys are chatting. Hence how everyone just went and got the job for the V-Pass. When it comes down to it, most people will not hold the line. Yeah. The reality is the cons and libs are one and the same. Diaglon right about voting PP and then see how PP and lib are two wings of the same bird. Two wings of the same evil bird. I like that. I like that analogy. It's only the immigrants benefiting from Trudeau, all the money he is giving them. Yeah. Massive RCMP leak and Chinese election interference bought MPs, planted MPs, and more. Check Plebs channel. Plebs. I'll have to check that out. Thank you, Vikram. Right on. See, like, you guys drop other people's channels. That doesn't hurt me. That doesn't offend me. I'm happy that you guys share that. Just to know that you guys are active in sharing other people's work. That's important. So important. Right on. I don't know what you guys are laughing at, but haha, laughing with you. I'm glad CSIS is actually concerned about CCP influence. Chabad Lobotowicz is not a person, it's an organization, one of the richest, most powerful groups on the planet with lots of politicians in their pockets. My guess is Pierre is one of them. Okay, that's the first time I heard of that. I'll have to look that up. Thank you, John. Yes, the CSIS concern is good, but what will actually be done about it? My guess is nothing, as usual. Well, let's bring that up now that we're talking about it. Let me find the article, which is interesting. This is from the Globe and Mail. Trudeau rules out public inquiry into Chinese electoral interference. Gosh. Read this. Justin Trudeau is ruling out a public inquiry to examine China's interference in Canada's democracy and once again insisted that Beijing-directed influence activities did not affect the outcome of the 2019 and 2021 elections. Like, is it his place? Is it his place to even make a statement? Like, the fact that he is making a statement just tells me that he's guilty. That's just me. That's just my, again, another opinion. If it was untrue, if I was him and this allegation was untrue, I would just shut up and wait for the evidence to come out and be transparent, right? As he was during the Emergencies Act inquiry, where he handpicked the commissioner. This is jokes. Speaking of jokes, these are the jokes that aren't funny because they're not even intended to be jokes. They're just funny in a dark, sad way. But yeah, that's the Globe and Mail. Check that out. Here, I'll drop it in the comments for y'all. Sad, isn't it? Is PP controlled opposition? People are making a strong case for it. That's for sure. We talked about confidence levels earlier, right? Where's my confidence level that he is? The meter's bouncing right now. It's bouncing up and down, and it seems to be getting stronger just with the way he's reacting. But I think what I've been talking about almost this entire stream is that it's more so because Pierre knows he can't win on principle. He can only win on image, how he's perceived, and the media controls the perception. So it's our job to starve that media, to turn their viewership's eyes towards us instead of them. Right? Vikram says, major bombshell. It's over. The CCP is here. The Liberals are compromised. Yeah. It is huge. It is huge. All this going down. I agree with you. I'm beginning to think that's the case. Yes, the 2021 election in Canada was a robbery infiltration of CCP China communists. After all, 2019 Trudeau invited the CCP military to train in Canada. What does this tell you? That's a good point, right? This is a good point. This is why, guys, this is why this channel, this stream is not about me educating you guys. This is where ideas are welcome and we can all chat and talk about things. I'm just kind of the mediator, the guy that the referee. Make sure you guys are have a good time and respecting one another. But it looks like you guys are pretty respectful in the comments. It's awesome. Anyone research who Health M. Tam is? I've never trusted him, unfortunately. It's all about change for now. The ones who are not controlled are the few actually fighting for your rights or don't have a big platform or just backbenchers. The rest are all part of the system. JT loves China. He's never denied that. They always tell us what they're doing. You just need to listen. It's true. It's true. He's openly said that he admires I think he said the basic dictatorship in China. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was something along those lines. Pierre is controlled by Shabbat Lobodowicz, big Jewish money. Ooh, interesting. That'd be an interesting rabbit hole to go down. Tam is not a health minister. She is Canada's top doctor. She's appointed. She is also purely controlled by the WHO, which I believe it was her that gave sworn testimony to Keith Wilson. Roger, I don't know where that came from. That they received no justification from the HWO, the WHO, to require vaccine passports during all that whole mess. She said the WHO never recommended it. We just did it because we wanted to. That was under oath. Keith Wilson has that recorded. Like and share. Get the word out. That's right, Vikram. Smash, as the kids say, smash that like button. Smash that share button. History of Trudeau's ethics violations, among other actions against Canadians, proves that there will be no consequences for him, and his arrogance grows as a result. Canadians are to blame for dividing votes. It has to be strategic voting now. It has to be. It has to be. Maybe we'll dedicate an entire live stream. I know we've been talking about it all live stream, but we need to talk about, and I think this is what will help when we do polls. Because right now, I don't trust polls, especially from CTV or CBC, like the big whatever guys that do that. So when we invest, guys, we use our own personal money to do this. So when we ask you guys for donations, it's to help us out with stuff like that because it's expensive to do these types of polls. So if that's something you guys want to do, we'd appreciate that, either by buying my book. We're coming out with some swag, just some Momentum Canada sweaters. I just like the design. I was like, this is pretty sweet. I think I want to wear them during the stream. But just ways that you can help us do this type of stuff, because I think that's going to be very, very, very important to kind of gauge where people are at in their opinions on voting PPC or conservative, right? I think that'd be helpful information for us to know, to kind of come together and talk. Okay, guys, what are we going to do? How are we going to get Trudeau out? How are we going to get ourselves forward? Because the PPC, like right now, their message right now, I think is what they're saying is, let's not focus on winning. Let's focus on just getting MPs in Parliament. Let's play musical chairs and get our guys in so that they can at least start having a foothold in Parliament. So these things need to be talked about. We need to have these conversations, right? This is the other thing. If you all didn't learn from, I think there's another comment coming from that guy. The Trump era, that this election BS is all clown world show. Now, okay, I got to be careful with that comment because I think it's specific to American politics that YouTube is against. They don't want me raising concerns about that whole process. Courageous whistleblowers or cover-up. We have a major problem here, folks. Yeah. Nothing will change. If you stand up to them, then Canadians won't get their cheap goods made in China. This was all planned back in the 70s. Interesting. The political leaders that benefited the most must go to jail, period. They have blood on their hands. All part of the clown world show. They have us all watching. Yeah. Here's what we do know. Justin Trudeau has his knickers in a twist over Christine Anderson and what she said about him. Could it? Oh, I'll get back to that comment because I think you got cut off there. John Allen says, Pierre looked really cozy in his picture with Bill Gates. Yeah, that's another troubling thing. But again, right? Even if he's shaking hands with Bill Gates, he was in Ukraine waving a flag. That stuff is image. He's not about principle right now. He's about image. That's the frustrating part about all this. Chris Freestone says, SCIS told me to my face when I asked about CCP influence that they were looking into it. Interesting. Send me your story, Chris. Let me put that on the screen. I shared this earlier for you guys. If you want to share your stories, which I publish on Rumble so that you can have free reign to talk about anything you want. Like I want to know your stories about pandemic stuff, right? How you were affected, your frustrations, whatever you want to get out. I want to interview you. It doesn't have to be long. Last one I did was 20 minutes, but it can be shorter than that. I can do a phone call, blur out your name, however you want to do it. The last guy I did was Mike Mole. It went really, really well. You can watch that. It's over on Momentum Canada on Rumble, and so that's there for you guys. But send me your story. I want to hear all about that. And I just got to find. There we go. That was for Chris, right? You said SCIS told you to your face. I want to know all about that. I guess I can't have the banner on the screen at the same time. That's a drag. Oh, well. ATF says big healthcare announcement live with JT Ives and Ford. Huh. Yeah, those guys. It's about Canadian rights, not rights of other countries. The words supposedly used by PP against Christine Anderson just don't sound like him at all. They do, on the other hand, sound like Trudeau. Yeah. Like I shared, it for me, it does make sense based on what I've seen from my local MP, Marilyn Gladue. Sorry to call you out. Sorry, not sorry. And she's pretty influential. I can't remember what her role will be. I'm pretty sure she's like going to be like right beside. I don't know if I don't think it's Deputy Prime Minister if he does get in. But it's something of great importance to him if he does get in. So to see that behavior from her, in my experience dealing with a municipal election, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by this reaction. Always respect, because that is a large cause of division, is lack of respect for one's personal choices. Gun Cotton never met any of us. If he did, he might change his mind. Dags are beautiful people inside and out. Does Pierre have more of a chance, though? That's what our polls will find out. Well, can't always trust polls. But for me, I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to gauge my audience and to just get the download of what people are thinking. Where are your minds at? Obviously, it'll be, polls are anonymous, so it's not like you're putting your name out there to be criticized, but I want people's honest opinions. And that's what these streams are for too, right? I think what I'm feeling, what I'm gauging in this stream today is that Pierre really stabbed himself in the foot with these latest remarks. And unless he comes out and says that wasn't him, which like I said, I think it was him. I think it's going to tarnish a lot of people's perceptions of him, particularly people that were, divided on what they wanted to do. choosing between him and the PPC. I'm seeing it. So many people tweeting out, "You just lost my vote, Pierre. You just lost my vote." That's what I'm seeing, just based on the live stream today. Talks are on this week with the WHO, Canada, and multiple other countries to hand over our sovereignty to the WHO, and they will be, sorry guys, I can't read. And they will then be in charge of governing our health systems. I humbly ask our military and police forces to intervene and make mass arrests on these corrupted politicians. PP has more of a chance by far. I agree with that. In our current state of affairs, I agree with that. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't be engaging in this conversation. Heck no. That's exactly what we need. Vikram Singh, our military is the only entity that has the power to unseat our officials. I believe General Iyer is the man if he has not been compromised. Bad idea to give WHO authority over pandemic plan. Terrible. I agree. Yep, you guys are chatting. Looks like he is worried about Chinese balloons and trying to stay out of it. Yeah, we need general with balls. Yeah, it's gone too far already. The country is clearly crippled now by the circus show. Trudeau must have been fuming about Christine Anderson touring in Canada. We need to start the great cleanup now, top to bottom. Get rid of the beep, corrupted and incompetent. There lies our true pushback and calling. It's easy to say, but how do we get there? It's easy to say, but how do we get there? How does one know what it feels like to be the opposite sex? That's a good question. That's a good question. Right on. Canada has to unite in common cause now. Kids aren't allowed in strip clubs. It's true. They use our public libraries. They should use private bookstores, maybe. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's privately owned, if my paycheck, whatever comes off my paycheck, as long as it's not going to that stuff, I'm just like, kind of like how I feel with Jeremy McKenzie. You have the freedom to say and do whatever you want. It's, if it's within the law, right? And I respect your right to do that. I deeply disagree with it, but keep it over there. Don't make me pay for it. Ew, that's disgusting. I don't even want to read that. Yuck. Common cause is get Trudeau out. I'm not saying you're disgusting, Linby. You are wonderful. But sometimes, these people are sick. Canada has become a divide and conquer country. I think in many ways you're right. In many ways. It's a revolution we need. Peaceful. We have the power. They are trying to divide us. Classic game. Have a great day, everyone. No matter your views, let's stay united. Blessings. Thank you, Tristan. Thanks for your input today. Appreciated you. Fred Garvin, Whitney Webb is great, but I like Clyde too. I had Clyde on the show. He's a good sport. I had him on the show despite being such a small YouTuber. I think I was still at 13,000, maybe just under 13,000 subscribers. And here he is big, 100 plus subscribers. And I just reached out to him, via Twitter, and he's like, yeah, sure. Let's do a show. And I had him on twice, actually. He's a good guy. Got to step out. We'll catch the restream. Thanks, C-Pen. You've been here since the beginning, so I appreciate you taking the time. Right on. I make it my mission to try and lose subs. I can agree with that, because usually if you're pressing the right buttons, people get mad and unsubscribe. But sometimes that's a good thing, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes you need to step back and be like, can I present that differently? Am I actually right in my opinions? Right? Hi there. Right on. All politicians are puppets, wasting their time and hours. There's my comment. Jeez. Yes, if he is defending it, it usually shows he's panicking and guilty. Classic Trudeau. Yeah. PP said that no one in his cabinet is WF. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. We're still fighting the WF. Wait till you see my new sign. Send it to me. That's what that email is for. Write me at dearmomentumcanada@gmail.com. That's what it's for. If you live in Hamilton, plan to join us at Hamilton City Hall, 12 noon every Sunday. Yes, guys, this is the place to do that as well. If you got meetups going on, if you got little rallies that you want to advertise, I put this stuff on the screen to give you guys some exposure. So if you're out in Hamilton area, join Fraser at City Hall, 12 noon every Sunday. That's part of that getting out there and doing stuff, right? Being the doer versus the don't doer. It's kind of a a lame saying, but whatever. Brenda Owlette says, Kristen is the controlled opposition. I believe Brune brought her here to divide and conquer. Sounds like a Trudeau move. I don't know. I think that phrase controlled opposition is being thrown around too loosely these days. I mean, unless we have like Mike, let's talk about confidence level. My confidence meter is just like not moving with that comment right now. I can understand the sentiment. I can understand, how things seem right now, but just in terms of confidence, I got to see more to even get the dial flickering a little bit. Great to have you, by the way, Brenda. I appreciate you taking the time to comment. Steve Taylor says, PP is showing who his masters are. Hamilton Freedom Rally. Yeah, Fighting Hate 101. I think that Lewis is going to be slingshot up the ladder after the house is cleaned up. Yeah. The mainstream media has compromised CBC and others. Be careful with Ethel Gilmore or Rachel Gilmore. Yeah. I've never trusted him since I knew he is a member of the WF. I don't know how can people trust that he claimed he isn't a member of WEF now. Yeah, that's I already said this, but my opinion is because that seems to be kind of an old recycled argument people have been using if you were ever at one point a member there, because I'm pretty sure that it's been rebutted with the fact that the WF puts people there kind of against their will, essentially, saying that, back in 2008 that they gave a donation back before they thought the WF was crazy or they knew it. And they included that as, being a part of the WF or having ties to there. So for me, I don't use that argument anymore. I need more substantial evidence that people are nefarious. To me, that's just an old one that's kind of been, it's murky for me. It's murky. It's just one piece of evidence that could be explained away. Put it that way. Right? Chris Freestone says, I won't vote for cowards. PPC aren't afraid of media. Yeah. To speak with Brandon or tell your story, Momentum Canada's email, dearmomentumcanada@gmail.com. Yeah. Thank you, Lynn. Chris Freestone, they came to my house because of Diagolon. Are you serious? Chris, send me an email, buddy. I want to hear that. I want to hear that story. Maybe that's a story we need to tell on Rumble. But let me know if you're interested. Lynn B. Actually, Lynn B is probably going to be my guest in the next couple of weeks. She's just preparing some stuff. She's got a story she wants to share. So be on the lookout for that. Alarm bells should be going off with PP, but folks are desperate to be rid of Trudeau. Yep. Wanting the grand turd removed is no reason to vote for the lesser of two evils. PPC is the only political party willing to fight for us, not against us. 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. It will be for some, yeah. I'm curious where the military stands on things. Trudeau sounds like a lunatic with the Ukraine thing, and there is PP up there too. Whitney Webb knows what's going on. She has for years. This is the first time I'm hearing about Whitney Webb. Maybe I need to look her up or have her on the show, maybe. Louise A. King. Great to have you, Louise. I think this is a new name that I'm not used to seeing. I think that the statements allegedly made by Pierre need to be authenticated. I don't believe that a man who is intelligent and on so many levels would be dumb enough to make comments like that. Yes. Yeah. Yep. I'm certainly open-minded for it to not be true, but like I've expressed, it very much doesn't surprise me, because he did come out against Jeremy Mackenzie. Again, when it came to his wife being inappropriately remarked on, and then my own personal experience locally with the MP that's very close to Pierre, how they distance themselves from freedom people. I've seen that. I've seen it. But we'll see. I'm willing to change my mind on it. Clyde might have a big following, but he's very down to earth and humble. Yeah, that's what's great about him. And he's hilarious with his dyslexic news. Well, you know what? I'm not perfect at reading even your guys' comments, but I noticed that makes me laugh about Clyde too. But I think that's what kind of that's what makes it real and different from the polished media, right? Where I can actually laugh at myself for being a terrible reader sometimes. I'm actually a really good reader. I actually read scripts for a living, so I kind of have to be good at it. But sometimes, those tongue twisters come your way, and you don't have enough coffee in you, and your brain kind of takes you for a loop. Jason Olden Toker says, first timer, great show. Well, thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Great to have you here. Yeah, this is I always thoroughly enjoy myself here. The crowd here is super supportive, super smart. We don't always agree on things. I see some disagreement in the chat, but it's always respectful. That's what I love about this audience. You guys are really, really awesome that way. So thank you guys. Yeah, thank you. Lynn B's she's my cheerleader. I need to send her some pom-poms. Send some pom-poms to Lynn B. Politicians don't just waste our time. They waste our tax money and resources like war or corruption. Amen. Amen. Jason Oldentoker. PP is well aware of the consequences if he doesn't do what is needed. I don't want to vote for him, but we cannot risk a vote split and more Trudeau. Yep. Yeah. Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. Because this is so important. This conversation is so important that I'm going to take efforts to refine where we're at in this conversation. Because I'm with every single one of you on both sides of this. I'm with you guys. You guys have great points, and I don't see any of you being unreasonable. Put it that way. So I'm gonna, like I said, with the surveys we're gonna put out in the polling, we're not only gonna use it for our local stuff, but we're gonna do not international, but national for stuff like this. So yeah, that's what, when you guys give to the channel, it funds stuff like that because it's expensive. SurveyMonkey, I mean, talk about, kicking a man when he's down. I think it's $99 a month for that program. It's insane. And we pay for StreamYard as well and the other things that we get involved with. So what you guys give, it's not making us rich. Put it that way. We put it back into the channel so that we can give you better content. That's the mission. Brenda Olette says it's on her bio. Okay. I don't think Christine is controlled opposition. Pierre, maybe, but not her. Yeah, Ottawa is a beep stain on Canada. It was the Freedom Truckers who invited Christine, not PP. That's true. She actually got to ride in one of their trucks. I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, that's one of the videos. Let's stop, and I have that video open when she called him out I remember watching that for the first time and just like being so proud of her. This is her in the EU Parliament. So she's a German MEP. Here it is.
Have been more appropriate for Mr. Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, to address this House according to Article 144, an article which was specifically designed to debate violations of human rights, democracy, and the rule of law, which is clearly the case with Mr. Trudeau. Then again, a prime minister who openly admires the Chinese basic dictatorship, who tramples on fundamental rights by persecuting and criminalizing his own citizens as terrorists just because they dared to stand up to his perverted concept of democracy, should not be allowed to speak in this House at all. Mr. Trudeau, you are a disgrace for any democracy. Please spare us your presence. Thank you.
That was funny. Please spare us your presence. That was hilarious.
I assure you, Ms. Anderson, that Prime Minister Trudeau will address this House and.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Oh, I'm sure he will. Gosh. That's funny. NATO used to be a good thing too, but not anymore. Yes. Christine is an awesome freedom fighter. Christine for PM. Yeah, if that was possible, right? I think she'd have to go through the proper channels to become a citizen. Well, thank you, Louise A. King. $5 gift. If these messages are coming from a senior staff or source, why has Brian Lilly not questioned this or confirmed this with Pierre? That's a fair question. It's a fair question. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I am totally okay with this being something made up. But I haven't seen Pierre coming out making a correction. I guess we'll wait and see. Time will tell. But as it stands right now, I'm convinced that it is true. My confidence level is like maxing out right now. But it's not 100%. I don't think it's ever safe to say 100%. I try to be careful with that. But yeah, thank you for that gift. Thank you. Jay Cree says, correction, not Maxime Bernier. Okay, I got you. So that was in correction to this. Yeah, got you. I got your back, Jay Cree. Right on. Wonderin' Wind Feather, a.k.a. Skajurin, S.K. Jaren. All freedom fighters of Canada. Well, great to have you, Wonderin'. That's the first time I've seen you here. It's great to have you. Brenna Ellett says, think about it. Her bio says PPC affiliated. No one has proof that Pierre said this. Think about it. Her bio says PPC affiliate. No one has proof that Pierre said this. Conveniently, Christine is trashing Polievere. More people now looking at Bernier. That's a fair point. See, that's a fair point. And that type of stuff makes my confidence meter start to blurp a little bit. So you had me here. I was at 0 and it's going, bloop, bloop, you got a good point. Let me know if that's just a lame analogy, but that's kind of how I can describe my confidence levels, because that's kind of how I get to the truth. Right on. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, yes. Despite you guys being generous, donating through YouTube, but Lynn is correct that they take 30% and Rumble takes 20% of the donations that you give. So just be mindful of that. And to kind of bypass that, we do have a link that she just shared right there. But I do appreciate you guys for doing that. Oh, dude, you have got to look into Whitney Webb. She's incredible. All right, will do. Whitney Webb. Let me write it down so that I can actually do that and not just say that I'm going to. A lot of the times I just forget. So Whitney Webb. Let's check her out. Thank you for that recommendation. If the claim against PP were untrue, he would be very loudly and vocally denouncing it as false. That's true, too. That's true. That's true. Sad as to Pierre, but my hubby and I wondered. Yeah, Trudeau supports Ukraine because of the human trafficking, drug trafficking, bioweapons lab, and all the other corruption there. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing to me. I mean, any decent human being would say, yeah, of course, innocent civilians caught in the thick of political war is terrible. That's where I'm at. But that's where it stops, because Ukraine has always been known as probably one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Right? So I have pity for the innocent citizens that are oblivious to what their leaders are doing, because that's the decent, humane thing to think. But on the other hand, get the heck out of that country. I mean, I guess I could say that about Canada, get the heck out of this country. But Ukraine is not innocent. Let's put it that way. They're not innocent. Their government isn't innocent. First time came across your channel. Well, great to have you, Wondering. I appreciate you being here. Politicians, hot air. Lynn B, super fan. Yeah. I got a few super fans, and I appreciate that. Appreciate it. And yeah. Fred, Last American Vagabond, Derek Bras, James Corbett, Hugo Talks, to name a few. I think he's listing off some social media influencers that you guys should check out. So yeah, go check them out. Go show them your love, if that's what that is. Pierre better fix this ASAP. Votes are on the line. That's right. That's actually right. He's got to get out there and correct the before, because this narrative is, well, we'll call it narrative, but this word is spreading. He's got to put it out if it's not true. Yeah. I'm just trying to soak all this in. I've been off the network mostly for a while. Yeah, that's all right. We're all learning at the same pace, I think, here. My first time tuning in. Great to have you, Helen. Helen Moat says, Canadians need as many independent reporters as possible. I should be one also, but I need someone to help me in regard to the computer. Yeah, I highly recommend that. We all have phones, right? Turn your phone on, upload it to YouTube. It is a time suck. I'll give you that. I'll be honest with you there. You got to be all in with it, because you're battling not only the algorithm, but people's attention span. I talked about that earlier, talking about things that people are wanting to talk about. And so yeah, it's a time suck. Sometimes it's a mental suck, but you do need to, that's my recommendations, at least. Just take care of yourself while you're doing it. Don't run yourself thin. Take the weekends off, breathe, hang out with your family, prioritize what's important. For those who are unaware, Brandon and his crew do not take any of the money for personal uses. It all goes to charities and to help purchase equipment to improve their channel. Yeah, so in terms of charities, Brooke and myself at Serious for Sarnia, we're all about playing offense. I talked about this earlier. There's an old saying, don't stop to stone the devil's rabbits, right? Because you waste a lot of time getting into the drama of things and disagreeing with people. We'd rather go out and show people that we are people with solutions. We have solutions. We are proactive. We get out there and play offense. And one of the ways that we've been doing it recently is helping the homeless. There's a bad homeless situation here in Sarnia, and we try to show you guys, to encourage you guys to do the same things in your own area. We bought some pizzas for the local homeless people, and we were able to support. It was cool because and I think this is what we're getting better at, is finding situations where we can kill a lot of birds with one stone, because our buddy tragically lost his baby girl. He owned a pizza shop, so we had to shut it down for a few weeks. And so when he opened back up, we went there and said, hey, listen, we have some money from the channel that people donate. We want to buy a bunch of pizzas from you to help you. And then we can take the pizzas down to the homeless shelter where people need to eat. And plus, we're shining a light on the problem here in Sarnia, because our local politicians need to know that we're not okay with, crime running rampant, drug abuse being just so devastating to our community. Because there's political solutions there. So we wanted to shine a light on that. So that was just a multifaceted effort, which I think really, really, really landed well because it did draw a lot of attention. So that's the type of stuff that we try to do. And we're continuing to put our efforts that way. Oh, wow. Another first timer. Welcome, Helen. Right on. Yes, it's important to have these conversations. Is the parliamentary system outdated and ineffective? Do we deserve better governance? Yeah, but think about this, because we're talking about PPC conservative people, right? Our people, our folks, our communities. But there's still liberals. There's still NDP people. Now, when we talk about clean sweeps, is that taking? That seems a bit tyrannical to take it from their free will of voting, right? Because they did vote him in. Well, until it comes out that Trudeau's seating was illegitimate, that's kind of where I have to ride my opinions for now. But for me, I keep in mind that just because I disagree with NDP and liberal people, I still respect their vote. And if that's who's representing our country right now, if that's who was elected, I got to respect that. And I got to kind of think in other strategic ways until that can be confirmed. I don't know if that makes sense. I kind of just ramble sometimes, but I hope that made sense. AstraZeneca live in a Peel region announcing research facility. Interesting. Half of the salaries are gone out of the window. Excuse me. Taxation without representation. Yeah. For more mRNA technology and technologies. Yeah. The vaccine talk, I say for Rumble, folks, because it's not worth getting a strike on this channel. It's just not. I love her. Christine told off Trudeau on the world stage. Bless her. I need her to buy her a drink. And thanks. Yes. Yeah. Right on. I love that she has applause behind her. All right. I'm just getting caught up to those comments. Spare Canadians, your presence as well as and so many more. Yeah. Nationals corrupted a long time ago. NATO. I think it's time to invest in hemp because I believe soon the hangings will begin. Oh, gosh. Has it been confirmed these are Pierre's own words? Lack of denialness deafening. Well, even that reporter, Brian Lilly, here, let me share this with you because he's doubling down. I know a lot of you say you don't trust him, but look, he's doubling down in another tweet. He tweeted his own tweet, which is kind of funny. He's saying, I wonder how all the idiots who thought this was a fake statement from Pierre Polievere are reacting to him showing up at a rally for Ukraine and sharing the stage with Trudeau and Ford and saying Canada stands with Ukraine. Your Putin-loving heads must be exploding. Yikes. So, yeah, he's being a little blunt there. But he's doubling down. Interesting. I will not vote for left or far right. I questioned PP from the beginning. Christine didn't have anything negative to say about PP until he trashed her. She said he was intelligent and thoughtful. Yes, I saw that clip. Actually, I think I still have it open. Let me see if I do. No, I don't. I closed it. Darn you, Brando. All right, but I do have something else to share with you. This is Pierre Polievere's tweet. 1 year ago today, Russian aggression took on a new form of evil with the unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. Throughout this war, let me zoom in. Sorry for making you guys squint. We've seen the unshakable resilience of the Ukrainian people. Canada must always stand for freedom and democracy in the face of evil tyrants. Now, there's a whole argument to be had there, some of which aren't accepted on YouTube. But again, Ukraine is not innocent, folks. They're not innocent. I met Max 3 times because I was tired of the left and right scam. Maxime was the one that went to jail for us. He deserves our vote. He earned our vote. That's a great argument. That's a great argument. Constance Duraz, or I think that's how you say it, Durazes. She is incredible. Whitney Webb. She has been on so many channels. Okay. Maybe I do know her face and maybe just not her name. Just one second. Let me look her up. Where'd it go? Whitney Webb. Is it her? No, I don't recognize her face. All right, I'll have to look into that. Thank you, guys, for the recommendation. Question: why can't Canadians vote through an app on their phone? It would increase voter participation and probably would not cost $54 million like the Arrive scam. Well, municipally we can, and people have a huge problem with that, especially in the PPC folks. Like I noticed that with the municipal election, almost every single one of the PPC voters, which, by the way, the municipal elections, it's not party. It's not, conservative versus liberal. It's just you're voting for your local guy. It's not party affiliated. But they put up a stink about electronic voting, and understandably so, because, for one, I tend to trust paper ballots and me handing it to the person. Now that's a whole other topic of discussion, because like the way they scan the ballot, does it go into a machine that you can't trust? I don't know. Put it this way. I am for, and I really think there should be organizations that go the extra mile to ensure election integrity, right? I'm for that. And every time election season comes around, I'm thinking, there should be organizations, nonpartisan organizations that do that specialize in that. Maybe there is. Maybe I'm just not aware of it. But yeah, that's one thing that bugs me every election time, every election cycle, that it seems that there's no effort to be transparent. If it was me, if I'm the one that's asking the public to trust me, I'd be like, okay, here it is. Here's the behind the scenes. This is my plan. This is what I'm going to do. Here's me being transparent so that you can trust me. To me, I can respect someone who does that, who makes an effort. I'm seeing no effort. And so, yeah, I'm with you on that. Get rid of NATO. NATO and the UN both need dismantling. Ask this: how is a war going on, but they need a jib-jab and digital ID for a year now to do anything? Right? To be honest with you, I'm not hearing a lot about COVID anymore. Is that gone? Did it just disappear? Ask yourself, why no war coverage like in Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan? Musk put 200 Starlink over there in crickets. Right war is over tribunals, almost over. Interesting. Yes, all amazing channels I mentioned. Been around for 15 years. They have info and answers. Derek started a homestead in Mexico and has a masterclass to teach. Press for Truth as well is amazing. Okay, so Press for Truth is another channel. Right on. Thank you, ATF. Appreciate that. Ukraine-Russia conflict is a U.S.-led UN NATO proxy war for wealth transfer and global takeover by the globalists. Zelensky was executed on February 16, 2023 in Russia. Look it up. But didn't he just appear on the news a few days ago? I'm not sure about that. That'd be the first time I heard that. JT announced that TikTok is not permitted on employees' government-supplied cell phones. Ooh. Okay. All right, Justin. I don't know PPC platform. I know what PP platform him and his party is fighting tooth and nail for us in the House of Commons. New sub from Ontario. Looking forward to the content. Thank you. The Healthy Truth. I like that. I like that channel name. Great to have you. Thanks so much. Yeah. Look up Pierre's wife and connect the dots. She is handler, just like Harper had. Have to see more on that. I agree with Brenda. What did Brenda say? I got to go back. You guys have been awesome flooding the comments. All right, where's Brenda? Oh, it's lost. I'm sure I agreed with her too. I've been following the Ukraine conflict since 2014. People have no clue. I think that's about it. People are just running with the narrative spin, and it's a form of virtue signaling, right? You're considered cool if you have it on your Facebook profile picture. Kristen came to expose PP's true color to Canadians. I hope this time Canadians don't pretend to see his true color just because we all want to get rid of potato. You guys are funny, but it's true. It's a good question, or it's a good statement, I guess. Kristen's speech is so great. I want to make it my ringtone. The part where she says, "What you are a disgrace." I can picture that being my ringtone. You are a disgrace. You are a disgrace. Oh my God, no to voting from phone. What a great excuse for digital ID. Yep, right there. So many, I'd rather vote in person with a ballot. Put it that way. Paper ballots, hand counted, is the only way to have election integrity. The machines and any form of electronic voting is just a call for another disaster. We do online banking, but can't vote with our votes? Weird. Yeah. Well, I think online banking, it's kind of a, what do you call that? False comparison? Because you can kind of see when people steal from you. If it's not in your account, it's not in your account. Whereas voting, you can kind of just take it and allot it to someone else and make it look like you voted another way, and when you actually didn't. Like there's a shadow to hide behind with when it comes to voting. But it's a little harder to do that with banking, in my opinion. Just opinions. With our phones, look up Connect Inc. That is how they're stealing our elections. Yeah, I gotta be careful. I gotta whisper that stuff because YouTube will flag me instantly on election integrity. I don't know. PPC platform. I think I read this, and his team is fighting tooth and nail. Unfortunately, Trudeau can't and won't answer any questions. It's true. It's true, Marilyn. It's true. Awesome. I'm caught up. I'm caught up with the comments. Let me just make sure that I've covered everything I wanted to. I've multiple tabs open that I like to share with you guys. So, all right. We're looking good there. Looking good there. Yeah, looking good there. I guess I have one thing that I didn't share. I might as well do that. This was part of talking about Biden and Ukraine. This is just a picture of Biden and Zelensky. Posted February 21st. Biden says the war in Ukraine will decide the future of democracy. So I guess we must send all our resources there then. Do you see how they condition the left? I haven't heard any leftist leader talk about peace. Trump is the only one who has talked about brokering a peace deal. Instead, you are hypnotized into admiring communists like Zelensky, Trudeau, Biden, and all other leftist leaders. I think that's a great, great point. Great point. With that said, guys and gals, I appreciate you indulging me and engaging in the discussion today. Should really read their platform, Marilyn. It's good. There were already peace talks on the table, but they were shut down. Yeah. Well, right on. Guys, I'll just ask you one more time. Please consider subscribing. Not to make me famous, but to make our message famous. We need more conversations like this. This is about you guys more than it is about me. This type of stuff and how the chat went today, I get so encouraged by, because it tells me you guys are paying attention. You guys care about the country that your children are growing up in. and you want to see Canada return to decency, to a country that we can be proud of. Because I think that's it. A lot of us want to be proud of our country, and right now we're not. So please, I'm begging you. No, I'm not begging you, but consider subscribing, like the video. You guys, a lot of people don't understand the significance of liking the videos. The algorithms see the thumbs up and they go, oh, this video is getting attention. We're going to shoot it up in the algorithm. It's an automated system. So that's the significance of that. And of course, sharing, any type of interaction, what you guys are doing in the chat right now, that's helping. So those are the ways those are the free ways you can support me. But if you'd like to financially support us, link is in the description. I'm going to roll my book ad right now. My book is another way that you can support us. But thanks again. Thank you, Firefly. Thank you, Lynn B. Thank you, Chris, Freestone, Vikram, all you guys, Brenda, Sam Hain. I missed your comments. Sorry, Sam. The only parties to vote for is the People's Party or the Libertarian Party. Right on. Thank you, Marilyn, Constance. I couldn't sit here and name all of you guys, but I'm so thankful for you. If you're new here, let me just tell you that we do this every single Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just pick 3 topics at the most, and we chat about them. So make sure you're subscribed so that you get those notifications. And I look forward to the next time. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your Monday. And I will catch you soon. All right. Bye for now. God bless.
A Prayer for Walton Bay, a novel based in the area of Kingston, Ontario in the late 1800s. This story was inspired from the desire to see Canada return to its simple roots after seeing such division during the pandemic in recent years. Available now on Amazon, this book will help fund our efforts here at Momentum Canada, since we are not government funded. Rather than just ask for money, I wanted to give you something wholesome for you to enjoy as well. So place your order today and enjoy a great story for such a time as this.